What up, 10 Hut is the 10 Hut show with a side of whiskey. So salud. I still got my whiskey here bottle. And so you guys enjoy. I want to first start it out that I want to welcome back Dr. Will Romero. He came back from the dead. Apparently he was a zombie and he bit himself and reversed the virus. So he's a human again.
Yeah.
And show him your scar, brother.
It's a doozy, man. Like, I don't know if you can see it. But
yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can see something there, So and
I'm just glad I got my singing voice back. I was worried about that. That was the most important thing. But
okay, Baxter boy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Jose right now he is handling some business, so he's gonna be joining us next Thursday. So we are here. So today we have an awesome guest. His name is Bill. I have to say that I worked with Bill before, and Bill is really, really, handling all the stuff that has to do with veterans and entrepreneurship in Orange County. He's been doing this for so many years, so I'm happy that, Bill's with us, and to share some knowledge and resources and things that he's doing for the veteran community. So Bill, I'm going to pass the floor to you. Let the 10 Hut crew and everyone else know, about yourself.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Pedro. Yeah, you and I've we've been dancing and 10 Hut's been dancing for like got to be 5 6 years anyway. Met up in LA and there's a lot of passion in the community, and there's a lot of organizations, veteran organizations, and Orange County has like 130 of them. Just veteran organizations, and so it's important, and I think you and I both would agree, and I'm sure Dr. Will come right into it, is that the idea is that the organizations are great, but it's helping the veteran in the chair, and that's our whole passion. That's my passion. I know that's yours as well. It's not the organization that's important; it's the veteran in the chair. What can we do to make the veterans' business life better? Your other videos, what can make their personal life better? How are they stronger? How are they more empowered? How do they move forward? And that's been my passion.
Right.
I am, all the way through. I was actually in the Coast Guard. Was my veteran service. I love it going.
Hold on. We actually got our first coastie here, so yes.
It is great because whenever I go to veteran events, and there's a lot of them, they always do the medley, or they always do, okay, yell out if you're from, the different services. When I do our events, and I think, Pedro, you've been to a couple, I'll lead out and I'll say, okay, everyone for the Army here, and so Army sounds off, Air Force here, the Air Force sounds off, Navy here, Navy sounds off. And I said, then I'll kind of pause a little bit. What's left is someone to say Marines. And then, of course, I say, well, isn't the Marines part of the Navy? I thought that was, which gets a lot from them. And then I'll say, but what you guys have? And I'll be a room of 30, 40 people. You got a coastie up in front leading. So I'm just saying,
Yeah. It's funny because every
you
time
get a lot of booze after that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Pirates. I get them all.
But it's funny because every time I've been to, we got together in events, you're the only one from the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen anyone else. Not just you. Yeah, definitely. So definitely. So tell me a little bit about, your background. I know you say Coast Guard, but what you did in the Coast Guard, and also you transitioned into as a entrepreneur. So you can share a little bit about that.
So, it's so interesting with veterans, because I hear so many horror stories about different duty stations and complaining and whining. And, I had this and this challenge. I had stellar, outstanding experience in the Coast Guard. I started, believe it or not, I started in San Francisco recruiting out of boot camp, figured that one out. Went down to San Diego to the air station and did small boats. Went up to Portland, Maine, and did lighthouse duty. I was bouncing around to the lighthouses, and then wound up my service. The Coast Guard has a tall ship called the Eagle, and I've got a model of it over my shoulder here that's at the Coast Guard Academy, and I was permanent crew on that for 2.5 years. before wound up with a medical discharge. So, I mean, the duty I had was phenomenal. But what I'll say, the big difference between the Coast Guard and the other services that I hear all the time is, and you can probably verify this with any coasties, is you've heard, all I hear is hurry up and wait. You know, the military is hurry up and wait.
Right.
Well, I can guarantee there's never been a time in the Coast Guard where you wait for anything. You know, you hurry up and there's so much to do. The units are small. There's so much work to do that you better be finding something to do, you know, because there's so much going on. So it's very, it's a strong, rewarding experience, you know.
Right.
So you never had to sit in a room waiting for the next round of shots or your administrative paperwork or your finances to be taken care of?
Boot camp, sure, but other than that, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, don't forget, you know, the average size unit is, you know, 5.
Wow.
You know, and then you know the larger ones are a couple of hundred. So I mean, it's not like it's you know, we've got like the other services where you've got these massive number of people that you've got to just logistically move, and then you have to take all of them and put them through the mess hall, the chow line, and then, you know, when there's all that waiting, it just doesn't happen.
I picked the wrong branch.
I usually get that after I've talked to people.
Yeah.
Bill, were you in the Coast Guard when it was Department of Transportation or Department? I'm pretty sure not DHS.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's too new.
Yeah, no. Homeland Security, you know, it's now. I was under Department of Transportation.
Gotcha.
And I'm immediately post Vietnam. I'm considered Cold War. And so I went in 75. So I still had, you know, for those Vietnam vets, man, we sure had to deal with it. You know, 75. Picture being 1975 in San Francisco. You know, with you know, that was a pretty intense time. You know, pretty intense time to be in the military, and you know, the hair was so obvious. You know, so it's so you were just noticed a mile off.
For all our listeners right now, like that are watching, the Coast Guard is for home mainly. Their main mission is here, but there was a unicorn once. I've been to Iraq 4 times, and there was one coastie walking around in his PT gear, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And finally, I read it. You know, U.S. Coast Guard or USCG on the back of his sweater, and I was like, "This guy's Coast Guard. What the hell is he doing here?" Well, but he was on a special detail or something. I don't know what he was doing there, honestly.
The Coast Guard is in all 50 states and 70 countries around the world.
Wow. The
Coast Guard has been in every major conflict that's happened, including Iraq. You know, all of the small, when recruiting was easy in 75 because people would say, you know, I'm joining the Coast Guard because I don't want to go to war. Well, you know, those small boats that they set up the Mekong Delta?
Yeah. They
were coasties just painted gray because we knew how to run small boats. You know, there maybe a lot of them, but those were all coasties going up there. They incorporated the Coast Guard into the Navy. So, and of course, you know, the big one we got was that viral video that was about, maybe 2 years ago that literally put the Coast Guard on the map with that one guy. I'm sure we've all seen it where the coastie jumps on the submarine and is pounding his fist, you know, on the top of the submarine and brings you know, it's like, hey, you know, Coast Guard.
I don't think I ever watched that video.
Oh,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
It is amazing. It's like finally the Coast Guard's got something, you know, that we got. But the other side of it is that the Space Force's budget is twice the Coast Guard's budget.
I'm sure it's probably more than that and here soon because it costs a lot to operate the Air Force and Space Force technology. So
yeah.
So how many drugs do we want to keep offshore?
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
How many you know?
Well, we are stopping aliens though, right?
Yeah, well,
coming in. I'm talking about aliens from outer space.
Alien, there we go. I guess that'd be. Are those illegal?
Yeah.
You know?
It could be. They can. Yeah.
No.
But yeah. So you know, from the military to transitioning out of the military. So what was how was your experience? What was the, you know, like I guess the first step you say, how am I going to get into entrepreneurship?
Well, it started. I got, you know, I was accepted to OCS and was really excited and motivated. You can hear it in my voice. I love the Coast Guard. And I was accepted to OCS on my final physical, and they found an irregularity on my ear. And there's no such thing as limited duty in the Coast Guard. You know, if you're not seaworthy, you're out. And so literally within about 6 weeks, small family, I was literally put out of the service and onto the street. And it was brutal. I had done some work for a court reporting firm before, and so they hired me back. And this was during computer transitioning. And so I actually bought into the firm, transitioned their computers from mainframes to PCs, and then worked in the legal field for about 35 years. Became a nationally certified paralegal, law firm administrator. You know, mediated cases, managed over about 4,000 cases, I figured, in my career. Yeah. But I hated every sliver of every minute about it. You know, it didn't pay, kept my family, did well, but I literally hated it. And I had an opportunity to do some volunteer work back with Homeland Security, which was bringing businesses together in Santa Ana and helping to, this was about 2006, you know, helping to take care of themselves until first responders can arrive if there's another major incident. And really loved it. Loved the thing. Well, the grant ended, my job ended. I wasn't paid, but it ended. And the businesses, we got to be so working together, we decided to come back and start our own business. And I did that. And that's where our company BERT, which is building emergency response teams, came, is from the leaders of those businesses that were motivated, came together. We've now built that into a pretty successful business of helping companies build their response teams, but then OSHA compliance, safety team development, safety training, you know, on a whole level. And so became an entrepreneur, you know, kind of when that was so passionate about that, I was able to move into it real easy. And frankly, I lost my job. I was 55 years old and lost my job. And who wants to hire a 55-year-old paralegal? Just doesn't. It's not there. So I kind of had to make it. I had to make something of my own.
Right.
And that's what I told my kids, and I tell everyone else. You know, I have a school teacher. I've got several different kids doing different things. I said, always have something in the back of your mind that you can do that's just you, that nobody can take away from. Right. And so always have something in entrepreneur so that you can fall back on it. Because that's what saved our family.
You know, Bill, talking about paralegal, you know, I'm a certified paralegal as well. It's not my primary job, and I don't think I would want it to be my primary job, like you said. But you know, talking to veterans that sometimes are looking for certifications, that's a great certification to have. How are you implementing that? I mean, because paralegal consists of so much, right? I mean, we're talking about every type of law, and then being able to write and, you know, give assistance. But how have you incorporated paralegal in yourself to make your business better?
Well, that's the critical thinking aspect of it, is that with paralegal, the way I like to describe it, and you know, I'm open, you'll kind of see it, is the paralegal's job is to build a case and look further than the case. You have to look at their side and put yourself in someone else's shoes so you can better build your case. So you're always kind of like chess. You're looking, you know, if we say this, what are they going to be able to say over here? And you build the case, and then you give that built case to an attorney who is an artist. And their job is to put it all together and make it in a real presentable, comprehensive delivery, you know, in court, because that's what everything is working toward. So having spent the time so long really thinking about what if I do this, what are the ramifications? Not just this makes sense, let's go forward, let's run with it, but what are the ramifications? And what are the ramifications 3 moves out? What are people going to come back at you with? What kind of planning do you need to do? And what are the attacks that you're going to get? Because it's not easy out there. It's not easy for anyone.
Yeah.
But veterans really have a good thought process because you're meant to think on your feet and stay engaged. To me, what I see with veterans for the most part is you're always engaged. You don't just kind of go into a float or a malaise. And that's where veteran and entrepreneurship, I think, work real well together. And the paralegal from that end, just really taught me to hone that skill, I believe.
Yeah, it's really important, especially entrepreneurship for vets out there, that there's going to be a lot of legalities that you might not want to deal with in the beginning, but it's important to deal with just for covering your ass in the future. So it's really, really important. And so with that, you talk about entrepreneurship, and I know right now you have taken over, or you're president, if I'm not mistaken, the chapter of Orange County for VIB. Is that the?
I'm the advocate, the local advocate for VIB. VIB is a national organization. But Pedro, if you don't mind, I'd like to come back just a little bit more and tell you a little bit why I got back. I re-owned my veteran status because if you don't mind, because this is
absolutely, go for it. Yeah.
When as I said, 75 to 80 was a rough time, and veterans we were just, and for a long period, I just dropped out of it. I was not, didn't say anything, wasn't mention anyone. I would sometimes talk about the Eagle because it was so cool, the sailing experience. But about 6 or 7 years ago, I was on a Southwest flight coming home, and it was on Veterans Day. And, with Southwest, they give you they tell you your boarding number, your everything. And after they did the first one, they said something about today's Veterans Day, if you're a veteran, you can board the flight, second. And so about 10 or 12 of us got up and I said, I'm going to do, hey, look, I can get on the plane sooner. Sure, I'll take advantage. And 10 or 12 of us got up and we got in line, and the entire airport around us broke into applause.
Wow.
I'd never felt that before. That was such a turning point in my thoughts. And I really felt, I was almost in tears. And I sat down and I said, I am a veteran, and I can offer something, and I have skills and I have passion that I can offer to the veteran community. And so that was my transition to owning my veteran status.
Right.
And it was such a cool thing. And when everyone was ready, the society was ready when I made this, it's night and day, a different world now. And but what I started doing, I did some work at the rescue mission, the Orange County, the Veterans Outpost for the Orange County Rescue Mission, and I felt like it felt like you contribute to a wider sphere, and my passion and my experience was entrepreneurs, because I'd been one, and so I started working with the Tierney Center and the VBA with saying, okay, let's get veterans together, and rather than just talking at them, and making presentations, let's get veterans working together. And so we started doing, this is what you experience. I got the stars all aligned. We had the Tierney Center was right for us, and we started having every month we would have an event where veterans would come together in a room, and we would get 12 to 60 or 70 people every month, coming into the room, and we would say, rather than what's your name or what's your service or anything like that, or your business, even the name of your business, because we all go to those networking events.
Right.
You remember this, Pedro? What kept you up last night?
Mm-hmm.
In your business. And so we would write it on a board, and it would be bookkeeping, finding people, marketing, cash flow, whatever. We would write it on the board, and then we would go around together and say, okay, let's address this issue. And then the group as a dynamic would start addressing that issue.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because it kind of becomes a networking thing, because somebody, you'll have 50 people and the guy over here or gal over here says, I can't get a handle on my books and I can't afford a bookkeeping service. And then 10 minutes later, you get over here, we have a bookkeeping service and we specialize in small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happened every single meeting, time and time again. And so watching veterans come together was so dynamic. And the collaborative, which, and where we are today is the collaborative in the employment and entrepreneurship working group is kind of taking that model over, and we're restarting. We're coming out of COVID and we're restarting again with a sponsorship of VIB, because they have all the infrastructure that's in place to help the veteran. So
that is very powerful as far as like what you explained. I remember going to some of the events, those meetings actually, where it's like you state the problem, right, and everybody like to chime in and say, hey, this is what I've done, or this is what I've heard someone done, right, so fix a veteran's situation when it comes to their business. And I think it's just very powerful, and that's the proper way of doing it, right? So everybody's collaborating together instead of sitting and watching a PowerPoint slide, like AKA death by PowerPoint, you know. So yeah, absolutely. And then so I do have a question, because I there's a lot of veterans, there's an influx of veterans now getting into entrepreneurship. And so based on your experience, what's some of the, common denominator that most individuals make a mistake when starting a business? A business. Hold on, I need more drink. I got to drink more.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Wash it down.
I'm doing water just so I can get through this, So I know you suggested it, was like no. I would say the kind of mistake is not having a real focus of what your business is, and that's what and you heard this around the room. It was like, I'm ready to start a business. Okay, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. It's something kind of on the lines where helping someone and doing some sidewalk cleaning and maybe some cooking, and it's like you got nothing. You got to figure out what your business is, and you've got to state your business in a sentence. Yeah. And once you can really hone it, then you can start building on it. And there's lots of resources, but nothing is going to work that's out there. The other is being teachable and being able to listen. We have, and I don't know if he's going to be here or not, but we have a great guy that comes to all of our meetings, and he's an older gentleman, and his passion is he wants to make baklava.
Baklava.
Yeah, and I was like, yes, that sounds great. Bring it to the next meeting. Bring us samples. The whole bit. And different. You need the kitchen, and so different people are offering different things. And the next time he comes, he says, I want to make baklava. You need the kitchen. It's like, okay, well, did you follow up on the other resources that are there? And I'm not dissing on him. But he just wasn't ready. You got to get yourself ready, and you got to be teachable. And even by people that are younger than you. I mean, you guys are, a generation behind me, and it's, and I'd be eager to sit down. Pedro, you and I have had some phenomenal conversations. I've learned a lot from you. And so it's being teachable, but having the number one is having a clear focus of what your business is.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Having the clarity with what you want to do, because if not, it's like if you're not laser focused, and it has happened to me in the past, not laser focused, again, like, oh, there's a squirrel, right? And you just kind of move somewhere else, right? And then like, oh my God, I just lost a lot of money on my business, right? Or I'm not making any money in my business. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you look at my shoulder, I have a whole bunch of books here on the shelf, and what I do is whenever I'm pausing for a second or on hold, or I just grab one of these books and then just open it up to where it is. And it's like I got Dale Carnegie up here. I've got the Bibles up here. I've got just different books, and I'll just pick them up. But I'm gonna say on the same topic that the favorite book that I can't remember a single thing about it except for the title that I read years and years ago. And the title is, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that so clear? It's like you got to have a direction. Now maybe you're going to change it.
Right.
You can be flexible and change it, but you gotta find a direction to go.
Yeah.
I think that goes with anything, not just starting a business. I mean, if you're living life without like a goal, and I tell everybody, every veteran I meet, what's your 10-year goal? And they say, I don't know. Well, that's where you're gonna go. I don't know. I mean, but you should have a short term, 1 to 2 years, and you should have a midterm, 5 years, and then long term, 10 years plus. Of where you want to be, either in your education, and that's a big thing too, is differentiating things, because where you want to be in your business, if you're starting a business, where you want to be in your education, where do you want to be in your life, 3 different components of your life, but you have to break it down into different sections, because it is different,
and it's so true with your family as well, because you've got to have a goal, with your partner, and have a goal for your family, and with that, when you're on the same page and running on the same, it's amazing things you can do.
So I'll go ahead. Well, I know you was gonna ask something.
Go ahead.
So I was gonna ask you this. So I've yet to really have any statistics on this, but have you ever come across, any veteran that say, hey, they have like PTSD, anxiety, they really need help with the mental, work with the mental health, mental wellness. Mm-hmm. But they said, hey, entrepreneurship have really helped me push myself forward regardless of the challenges that they come across, right? Has any vet said that to you? Because I know you work with organizations helping veterans get into entrepreneurship. So this is something that you've come across in the past?
I'm not going to say directly, Pedro, but what I'm going to say is most of the people I work with, that I've worked with over time, have some sort of designation of PTSD, some sort of aspect of it. I've struggled with it, and it comes to a direction. It gives you a purpose and a direction,
right?
And with that, with some of it is keeping things on the straight and narrow. But the people that have mentioned it, what they universally say is that they're hesitant to mention it because we have to get over the stigma that PTSD is a broken veteran. Because PTSD does not mean broken. And there's such a stigma out there of, oh, is he going to blow up on us sometime? Is he going to, all the movies and all the stuff that comes out there. And so universally the conversation is, how do we own it, express it, so that it's not something hidden in the resources, but it's not a designation of being broken.
Right. Yeah. The reason I ask, because, one of the biggest issues for vets is when they get out of the military, it's like not having a mission in their life, right? They not have a purpose. And what I've seen from some veterans that, since they got into entrepreneurship, regardless of the challenge, especially the financial part of it, is that they take on in that mission. They take on looking to succeed, whether it is like learning about self-help books to learning how to run a company, and it kind of gives them that sense of new identity for themselves after the military. And that's why I don't, there's any statistics. I don't, Dr. Will, I don't know if you came across anything like that, but that is something to actually, give, talk to all the veterans and say, guess what? If you want to find yourself, a lot of vets have taken a route of entrepreneurship, just like many veterans have taken a route of going out college and get a career after that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's definitely so. With that, so tell us a little bit more in depth, if you can, about the VIB. What are you guys are doing? if a veteran, because we got a couple veterans who are watching, where they can go ahead and you know and find out more about these resources if they're looking to get into business.
So so we have a all right, let me back up. The VIB has a conference on November 8th and 9th. And it's in Sacramento, but it's also virtual. It's a hybrid conference.
Okay.
And in that is going to be a tremendous number of resources of speakers, and of opportunities for veterans to present their business to buyers. So it's that's a real neat opportunity. Everything that's done with the collaborative or VIB is all free. It's all free for the veterans. There's nothing that's there. So that is there. You can join VIB at VIB-NETWORK.org. You know what I said that fast? VIB-NETWORK.org. You can join for free. You can put in what kind of business you are, your keywords, etc. You can put all build your whole platform in there so people can find you. But what we're going to do, our next meeting is similar to the one that you and I have been discussing, is October 21st, and this is done by the collaborative, the Orange County Collaborative, and VIB is our main sponsor, and then the Tierney Center, is we're going to have a boot camp that to help veteran entrepreneurs get ready to make their presentations on the 8th and 9th.
Oh, wow.
So
like a mini.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that is awesome. Cool. A mini pitch training.
It'll be pitch training, but we're also there's kind of three people fall into three groups, and we're going to try to address them. It's I want to start a business. They're not ready to make a pitch to a government agency. I want to take my business to the next level. They're thinking about it, but they got to do some things. But then the third, I want to get into government contracting. And so our boot camp is going to try to address all three. And for those interested, they can send an email. I'll give an email address. I don't know, should I put it in the chat or?
Will.
It's director@VIB-NETWORK.org. And if you send an email and just reference any part of this, we'll know what it's about. You know, reference me or Tent Hut or the boot camp or the conference, and we'll put you on an interest list. And as soon as we send out the invitations and everything, we'll make sure that you get them that are there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, is going to be put on a banner pretty quick. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
he's the man. And so that would so just send an email with information. We're not per se direct advisors, but people, if you go through here, if you want to get a hold of me, my website was on the intro. You can if you want to get a hold of me but I've got a pretty active business. So I'm not really in the advisor role, but the idea is let's get veterans together to collaborate.
All right, awesome.
Did that answer your question? I hope it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you guys get together. Was it once a month? Is that right? Or
we're moving to quarterly.
Quarterly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's another thing too. So you guys are watching this. If you guys are looking to start a business, reach out to Bill. Send him an email as well. You got his information. I actually put down your LinkedIn and your website. So if you guys are looking to, be part of this quarterly meetings for veterans entrepreneurship in Orange County, and you guys get together at the Tierney Center, is that correct?
It's at the Tierney Center. It's still vague as with COVID how far they're going to open it, and all that. So we're just going to be flexible. It'll be hybrid. It'll be combination hybrid, etc.
Okay.
So it'll be you'll have a place.
Right. All right. Awesome. So I do have. Will, do you have any other questions?
I have a question. Can you explain, because we talk about on our show all the time about the LA collab, right? Give us a little bit of what the OC collab is doing out here, because I'm in Orange County. What are they doing out here for veterans? When are your meetings? What takes place? What conversations are being discussed about how to better the lives of veterans around our community?
Well, that's great. Thanks, Dr. Will. I appreciate that. The collaborative is really growing with leaps and bounds. As I said early on, there's I think 130 veteran organizations here in Orange County, and there's probably a half a dozen that do veteran entrepreneurship, and there's, you know, and you hear time and again, we do veteran homelessness, we do suicide, we do, family. They're just, and it'll just be one after another. The collaborative brings them together, and there's X number of working groups, and I want to say 9, I can't recall, but the working groups are bringing as many of those together as possible to pool resources so that people can work forward with it. Most of my work is in the employment and entrepreneurship working group. And part of what's happened here in Orange County is that there's now an 8% set aside for disabled veteran-owned businesses in Orange County.
Nice.
And veterans have an automatic interview for a county job, because you don't have to go through the whole process. If you apply and you're a veteran, you get an automatic interview for the job. Those two things, these are some of the things the collaborative and the working group around that have really moved forward. And there's and so that's working well. And then there's a theological aspect to it. There's a homeless aspect. And so the different groups get together and then really start moving forward. And if you look, there's basically in Orange County, there's been some huge breakthroughs on homelessness with housing units that have gone up, a lot of good work. And the collaborative has been instrumental in a major amount of that.
Is it possible you can connect us with someone from the collaborative that can talk a little bit more about it, because that's something that we would like, because we actually we connected with someone for the LA, so Orange County will be definitely help us so we can spread the word.
I can absolutely put you in touch tomorrow, and actually the vice chair of the collaborative will be all over it. And so it's Michael Barrett from Working Wardrobes is the vice chair of the collaborative, and so I'll make an introduction.
Michael Barrett. That sounds familiar.
He's at Working Wardrobes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is is there a place where somebody can sign up for the collab?
So there's I'm going to give you another website to go to.
Okay.
And it's really convoluted, and I'm usually kidding when I say that. I'm usually kidding, but it really is.
All right.
So I'm going to tell you the words, and then I'll give you the letters for the website. But it's the Orange County Veteran Military and Family Collaborative, and so it's OCVM as in Mike. F.
Hold on. What is the website?
It's 6 letters.
Oh, okay.
OCVMFC.info.
I'm sure you guys didn't have any problem finding that domain.
It's
just a bunch of letters. Yeah. Okay.
Let's throw it out there.
There we go.
And I'll get Michael Barrett in touch with you. I'll send him a copy of this video, and he'll be pleased to reach out to you, and I'll make the introduction.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know Jeff from the Tierney Center. Yeah. He used to work at the Tierney Center. Yeah. Marine guy, right? He's Marine.
Yeah. He's Marine 1. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So I have one last question for you, Bill, and that is the question I always ask everyone.
Careful what you're asking.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right. Are you ready? That's the question. No. That's not actually the question, but I'm adding into that.
That's the pre-question.
Yeah.
To the question.
Yeah. All right. So, what is your favorite MRE?
So I was in the Coast Guard. And when I was on the ship, the Eagle, my best friend was the captain's cook, who had an escape hatch from his galley into mine. And so every once in a while, a pecan pie would come down, a steak, potatoes, So so be careful what you ask for. So that's my favorite thing. It was literally a steak just brought meals ready to eat, brought right down and sat down on my table and sat down on my desk and ate. So I'm gonna.
A truly
that's the way it is throughout the whole Coast Guard.
A true MRE.
A true MRE. Yeah. That's awesome.
Was there even MREs back then? Like the pouch ones that we got?
No, what were they called? They were called something else.
Sea rations.
Sea rats. Yeah, we definitely had sea rats, and we had to, we had to go through, and it was just.
I heard those horrible. I never got those, but never had one.
At the time. Now this was 1975. They were left over from World War II in Vietnam.
Those expired.
So it's like
nasty cracker and some spam.
Oh, the cracker and the some sort of paste that you put on as
gross.
The salt was unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I took just quick story. I just took my dad the other day to this Hawaiian breakfast place right here in Hudson Beach where I live. It's called Ohana. It's really good. But they have the moco loco, the with the spam, rice, and gravy all over it with the fried egg. And my dad, he's like, "What's this spam?" I'm like, "Just try it. You're already here, might as well try it." And I was pretty impressed with the fried spam. It was actually pretty good, but it was salty. And my dad never lacks on the salt. He's always like, I always got to stop him from. And he even said it was salty. So if you want to think of MRE meats for you that haven't ate an MRE before, you just think of spam. Spam meat. That would be your chicken or your pork or whatever you want to imagine it is, or it says on the package.
Yeah, it's a Hawaiian
thing. Salt. Yeah.
and I have to give just a shout out because I've got someone very close to us that's in the spam world on the corporate level, and so I'm going to just give a shout out to them, and so I'll send them this video.
Eat spam. They're not a sponsor yet. All right, but we'll get them there. We'll knock on their door for some donations.
Exactly. Absolutely. Right. Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. Absolutely, I can tell you guys that's watching this, the show that Bill is actually very focused and helping veterans when it comes to entrepreneurship. So definitely reach out to him. I know also you can meet with him. I don't know how often they're gonna have these events of the VBN, the Veteran Business Network, but there's another events that you guys can go to and meet veterans, get together. And entrepreneurs. So, Bill, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill.
Any last words?
No, just it's kind of the Nike thing. Do it. Yeah. Stop thinking about it and just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it.
Absolutely. Get it done. All right, guys. Until next Thursday. Take care. Peace and salud.